How you guys doing? Today, what I wanted to take a look at would be any number of topics that have seemed to be taboo. In other words, what is it? What kind of watch topics are we sort of banned from actually discussing? Um, there are a lot of them, I think. Okie doke. Well, I'm going to take a look at a couple that I think might be of some interest. Let's see, what would be one? The the quality. Uh, hey, Jose, how you doing? The quality that's coming out of Asia has been increasing all the time, and it seems to be something that I think is going to really influence a watch market. I think a lot of the things that are keeping the Chinese market down a bit isn't so much the quality of the things that they do, that they have, but it's still considered, if you're going to buy a watch, what you really want is a Swiss watch. And in a lot of ways, that's true in a sort of an absolute sense. In other words, you want these handmade quality ones, and Switzerland, France seems to be coming up, Germany, and you have some like from Asia, such as Jaime Asoka, and there are a number of guys from Singapore and China who are starting to emerge as sort of AHCI type of high quality. But anyway, I thought that might be something we'd talk about. How you doing, Brian? Hi, Tony. How's it going? This place, I don't know what it's like where you are, Brian, but here it is. We've got like snow, and then on top of that is ice. Nah. I just I was supposed to get a delivery today from FedEx. There were a couple of bands of watch bands from Ostrich watch bands, Larique watch bands. We had a couple new guys, Brian, who are getting watches, and so I'm not going to put them through the stuff that the rest of us went through with the bands. And so I had the band sent. Well, already they ran into a problem. God knows what it is. So I have a license, an import license for that include ostrich straps. So that's how come I had them sent to me. But it's going to be something. God knows what. I I don't know. It is 74 degrees in South Padre Island. Here, it is 20 degrees, but it feels like 9 degrees. They got this wind, and you freeze a tree, and it breaks. So I'm all bundled up. I look like a refugee from I don't know where, but I have no problem about dress codes when I'm cold. 11 degrees this morning when I walk. Oh my God. I can't even get out of the driveway. Our driveway, we at first it snowed on it, then it melted the top, and then it iced over. And the next, let me see, the high the high isn't going to be above freezing, and that's going to be 36, a nice toasty 36 degrees, and that's on Friday. I got stuff coming. God knows the if the FedEx people keep it delayed because of I don't know what something they come up with. You know, sometimes the guy shipping it to us tries to do something. I just said, look, he said, if there are any customs on here, I'll pay the stupid customs. In fact, I told him, don't put anything stuff in. If you want to ship send anything without getting hassled, just put them in a put them in an envelope and ship them, and put in some propaganda with it. and say it's documents. Anyway. Well, 9/11. I tell you, in Winter Park, Florida, it was in the 50s last night. Uh, well, we have winters here. We have very nice looking winters in New England, and I guess in upstate New York, it looks like a Courier and Ives print, whereas down south, when it snows, like a rumbling quarter of an inch, it looks like apocalypse has come. So there. But man, I tell you, the weather here is a challenge. I my hometown was Santa Barbara, California, and we had nothing but good weather. That's all that was allowed. And so, and before that, and then after that, it was San Diego, which is another. You know, so here for the last, God, it's been almost 30 years I've been up here in New England, and I love it. Though I mean, 4 seasons. It's sort of different. Okay, enough of that. We've got some serious stuff to talk about. One of the things I was thinking is that people really don't talk about it. And it finally dawned on me what's going on. Uh, yeah, it is. I love Santa Barbara. Can't afford to live there anymore, though. My God. So, hi, Michael. How you doing? Um, this is what I wanted to talk about. I find something finally dawned on me. I mean, I guess I must be one of the slow ones. Um, the what I think they talk about Rolex. I by the way, let me preface this. I like Rolex, especially when they came out with a full back page ad showing nothing but their parachrome hairspring in the latest New Yorker. The 100th anniversary issue is a big deal there, and so I'm all for Rolex. Okay, so don't get me wrong, but our Rolex is all about money. They really are. I When they got rid of Butcher the other day, I thought, I guess old Butcher's not making enough money. I don't know why they bought it in the first place, unless the watchmaker came with the distribution network. Maybe that was it. I have no idea. So anyway, but then I was thinking about that, is that, yes, they are all about money. They're better at it than anybody else, and they have been for years. Okay, so we've got this thing going. So the question is that, wait a minute, see, it just dawned on me. They talk about gradual improvement. What they're really doing is that they have taken the most economical, money-making course of action. So if they changed it more often and they did more things, that they have, if they have more, more innovations and more things. Now they can do it. We know that because they've got some watches that have done it. But of course, if the watch doesn't perform on the marketplace as much as they'd like the now gone or soon to be gone Yachtmaster 2, almost all of the Cellinis are gone, and of course the Prince and the Milgauss. And Milgauss is gone. Anyway, hey Fernie, how you doing, man? So I got to talk about that. Well, really, what they're doing is that uh, the cost of having innovations is no small issue, because you have to go through more tooling and this and that. This is why most of the watches we get today they'll have a base, and then on the base they'll put in different things, and sometimes they'll give the movement a different name, sometimes they won't. A lot of the ones we see have an ETA base, and they don't want to talk about that. But the modules they put on top of it, some of which are really good. Like my Dandy has a wonderful Agenor module with two Agonese discs on top of an ETA movement. So it's but what Rolex is doing, it doesn't. It seems like, well, we'll put something out there if they come up with anything new, and the last new thing they came up with, they stuffed the silicon in, and I hope they're embarrassed by that, but who knows. Um, that was why I said, my God, here you have 3 full page ads in the 100th anniversary issue of New Yorker. That is not cheap. I mean, the magazine itself was 10, 20 bucks, 10 or 20 bucks just for this special issue. Whew. Yeah, I think you're right, Michael. And this is not. Here's a funny thing. It's not so much a criticism of what Rolex is doing. It's a criticism of the smoke and mirrors that come along with it. Like they're saying, this is gradual improvement. You know, what it is, it's once you get the tooling and everything done, you don't want to have to pay for it again for a long time. And so you tell the fanboys, it's gradual improvement. And they believe it. This is the thing that gets me. So many people believe the malarkey that they put out about it. And Rolex is not alone in this. A lot of them are sort of a thing. And I think, it's like, it's sort of one of those. I think today we'll have the emperor has no clothes moment. Is that what's going on? Why not say, hey, we're doing this because it's good, and I for one would say, yeah, it's good. But look at one of the things they did. They have the Oyster Perpetual case. Now the Oyster Perpetual case will keep water out. All right, and to help it, they don't want to put an exhibition window in the back. In other words, you're not going to be able to see the movement. Okay. Ma. Anyway, I just thought, why didn't somebody say, hey, it's sort of like there's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong, I think, is believing it's anything other than that. Not wrong in the sense that it's immoral, but wrong in terms of getting a clear picture of what's happening. Now, one of the Rolexes I've liked for years is the Air King. Is that it? The Air King? I forgot the name of it they have. It shouldn't be too hard because they don't change the names a whole lot. Okay. That's another thing. Since when does oyster mean anything other than you might find a pearl in it? And perpetual, since when does perpetual mean anything other than your wife telling you what to do? Boy. Despair King. No, it's the Air King. Well, what they did with the Air King was really cool because it had that Faraday cage in it, just like the Milgauss. And they were charging $1,500 more for the Milgauss than the Air King, which gave me another reason to like it. And then I found out if I ever wanted to get one, I could, because you find out the reference number. But then I found out people are paying a fortune for those things. I mean, they talk about, they keep their value. They don't keep their value. Of course, well, every watch keeps its value. What they keep is their price. And so if you buy one, you might as well buy a new one because a used one costs about the same. That's my view. I know it's not wise Rolex fans' view, but that's what I think. HRM, Rolex uses silicon on the Cellini for a reason. I think maximize profit. They know the Cellini isn't a day-date, so won't sell as well. Hence, it's only available in solid gold as well. Yeah, same thing with that other one. What was that one they have? I like the looks of it. That new one they have with the silicon, and I forgot the name of it. I don't. Is it a Cellini? Maybe it is. I don't know. Won't be long till Rolex makes a Submariner with a display case back. They already made a Daytona with. Oh, I didn't know that. The Daytona uses uh, gear teeth similar to the Agonese gears with split teeth. Really, 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 really. Rancher, you're right. The resale price, not value. Price. Rancher, Rolex lovers are the day traders of horology. Indeed. Indeed. I think they're the day traders of stuff. I don't I don't know how much it has to do with horology. The Cellini 1920, maybe that's it. Ranchers, it's the 1908. Yeah, it was totally ripped off of Larique. I know that, except they didn't get the good hairspray. Oh man, um, I've been making posters for our new. Uh, we're going to, let me see. All right, posters are here. They are. Put one up. HRM, the 1908s also sell under retail brand new one on Chrono, so not a good sign. Oh wow, it isn't. Hey Lee, you're the day traders of grandkids. Oklahoma, Oklahoma is totally shut down under the threat of ice and snow that hasn't happened just yet. Man, I'll tell you, it is when it does happen, Clyde. Man, I'll tell you, I've been up here in New England almost 30 years now, and this is the toughest ice storm. For the last several years, thanks to global warming, we've had very mild winters and like a snow, and it'll melt in the afternoon. Boy, this year we got really hit, not to mention the Southwest and poor old Kentucky got, Tennessee, they got hit really badly. So, yeah, welcome. What we're not supposed to call it global warming, climate change. How about just one of those things? We'll call it that instead. You got, yeah, Colorado. Colorado, you expect that. That's sort of skiing, I think, is a state sport of Colorado. For a good reason. They're right in the middle of the Rockies. There's lots of ski stuff there, too. One of the things, the guys I know in Switzerland, the guys at Agenor and Matthew, our designer, those guys they do skiing a lot. I imagine they're really good at it. I've noticed that skiers are now wearing helmets. It's a good thing. My son's a big skier, snowboarder, and all of his pictures are these big goggles and a helmet that I don't know what he still looks like. Let me show you. I got to show you my poster. This is one of the posters. What we're having is that we're getting our new watch out way ahead of thing. We're trying to make a sports watch with a Zulu arm to it, and we have a new movement and everything else in it. And so, what we're doing is that we're donating one to the Horological Society of New York for their what they call their gala and then they have an auction for a scholarship for kids in watchmaking school. So I thought that was sort of a good thing to do. So I thought, well, I'll make some posters and sort of get the dinner. I'm going to miss the gala this year again. Not again, but because I'll be gone. I planned a trip. I planned a cruise in March because last year the gala was in April. I said, well, I'll go on the cruise now and then come back in April and go to the gala. Well, they had to change it. They found out I was going on a cruise. They said, let's have it in March so Bill can't come. I don't know what it is. Oh man, let's see. Hi, Jose. Come to Cancun is warm and nice. I bet it is. Yeah, Cancun is nice. I used to fly down there, Jose, down around, would fly down south to Sinaloa and Baja Norte and Sur for, we had clinics down there, and I had an airplane, and I'd fly doctors and nurses and supplies and so forth. Sort of like, yeah, Cancun would be nice. So, Michael, hockey is my sport. Oh man, did you see the game on Saturday? USA as Canada, 3 fights in the first 9 seconds. I heard about the fights. How did the game turn out? I never found out. We used to. We had a guy who was the dean of our music school when I was at the University of Hartford, and Hartford Whalers are an old hockey team, but they packed up and left, I guess. But he was an avid hockey fan, and apparently they have a new Hartford got a new hockey team called, I don't know what it's called, but yeah, so hockey fans are really. I got to go to some hockey games. Thanks, Michael. Let's call it Mother Nature. There you go. Here, you can call it Mother Nature. Mother Nature's, hmm, all right. Let's talk. Let's call it messing with Mother Nature. How about that? Okay. I'm going to watches and wonders. A lot of people ask that, and I've never been. I don't know why. I never planned on going. If I get to go anywhere, I get to go to GPHG, and if we get nominated this year, I'll go. Last year I went, and we were not only not nominated, it was a lot of fun though. I had a great time, and meeting Archie. Yeah, from what I understand, he's really a pretty nice guy. He just acts like a jerk on his SWAT thing, but otherwise he's pretty cool. HRM, announcing before the masses is a smart move. Easy to get lost in all the new releases. Yeah, really awesome. You guys are donating one watch. Yeah, well, it's like I hope to convince the Gronfeld brothers to do the same thing. I think last year at last year's gala we had one. So did H. Moser. Trying to think somebody else did. I think there was another one. Maybe it was Meng or someone. I'm not sure who it was, but I think it's a good thing to do. I mean, it was not going to kill us. Hi, Oscar. Uh, Clinics, just like little hospitals. We brought a bunch of doctors down and stuff. Hi, Yama long name. How you doing? I had to work in the garden all day and didn't have a beater watch. Looked at my empty wrist probably 7 times. That's really funny. Sometimes I'm doing something and I don't notice what I'm wearing. And so, you're doing some grunt work and you've got on a $20,000 watch. Speaking of watches, today I have my Urban Jorgensen. This is my had its roots in Scandinavia. I figure for this weather is the one to have. If you do, walk up to him, opening and closing some pruning shears, menacingly say, "I got a message to you from the rancher." Yeah, hey, quite it may be worth going just to do that. Hey, Michael, let's see. U.S. beat Canada, but final game rematch this 30 at the Garden in Boston. I wonder if there's going to be another fight. Right. Hey, listen, HR for doing gardening. I have my Seiko. I got my Seiko 5. My Seiko 5 is my long-suffering field watch or garden watch. Wolfpack. That's it, Jeff. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know where the Whalers went. Man, I tell you, if they wanted ice hockey, we got a pond behind our house, and our next door neighbor used to ice skate on it. And so I tell you, I'd break my neck if I tried to ice skate. But it was always fun watching him out there skating around. He's, had a lot of fun doing that. And this week is ice skating week. We also have a pond down in downtown, or what passes as downtown Bloomfield. And you see a bunch of skaters out there all the time. They used to have this little house with this brick fireplace and stuff, and then people would go out there and ice skate and sit in there and warm up. Well, they tore the hut down, but left the the fireplace. I don't know what they're doing with it now. Are tickets out yet for Watch Time in New York? Ooh, good question. I don't think so. Michael, that's a real good question. Because I always get mine, boy, the day they come out, because the Friday nights, those things that's when they have the cocktail party, and the let me see. What's that called? The Watch Time Show 2020. Let me take a look here. Okay, guys, here's the dates. It's October 17th to 19th this year. Let me see. Yeah, in 2025 or more. Nah, they haven't started selling the tickets yet. They have it was 25 years last year. Watch Time was celebrating 25 years. It's always a great event. So if you're in the New York area, boy, try to make it. It's really, the thing that I like about it is that a bunch of us, guys who talk together over, we get to see each other in person. That's always fun for me. Hi, Mark. How you doing? Oscar, Tissot and System 51, which they call it Power Magic. Don't know they put these movements on a Tissot. I don't know. I like Tissot. Tissot's got, give me a Tissot, what do they call it? Heritage Petite Seconde with a ETA 6498-1. Oris donated last year. Thanks, Brian. You should put on a Stetson so you can be an urban cowboy, huh? No, I don't know what I should put on that beanie with the pom pom on top that I got in a sort of a raffle that H. Moser had, given the weather. Never been a cowboy hat guy, even though I lived in Texas for a while. Oh, one of our goats got killed by coyotes in the back. Yeah, that's the goat update. So sorry about that. I hate to have bad news for you. They have 4 goats, and one of them was killed by the coyotes. And usually, what we do is that if we see coyotes in the area, we always call our neighbor and tell her that, hey, there are coyotes out, so watch out for them. But yeah, we found a couple of years ago, somebody had these little baby goats, and they went wandering off, and so the whole neighborhood was trying to find these baby goats. So we finally found this guy. He was walking around. I said, "Oh yeah, I got him." They came by, and so I put them in my sheds. Yep, that's the goat update. Hi, Karan. How you doing? Oh, good. Secondary market has amazing deals on Chopard WCs. I agree. I agree. Lee, I went to a hockey fight. Oh, and a game broke out. That must be new in Oklahoma. Oh, man. Yeah, it is. I went to a boxing match and a hockey game broke out. Okay. Hi, John. Perhaps I missed, but have you done a state of the collection video at the end of 2024? No, John, I had it in the middle of 2024, I think. I sort of front loaded 2025. So, and I've got one at the end. I've got a watch that is coming probably in December of this year, and that will be it for my whole year. Well, actually, I have two more coming by two Lariques, one that we've had to fix up because of we ran into an oxidation problem, and we finally got it fixed, and so all of the dials had to be redone, and we're getting those back, and that's going to look spectacular, I think. And we've been working on the one I just showed you the video on. There are all kinds of different ideas. We have a lot of talent. We're the guys in Larique, Caesar and Ali both have done some cool things for us. Oh, good question, Rancher. That's another one. That's another thing. That's another forbidden topic. Why? What was it in 2022? I think 2022. Kari Voutilainen and a group bought Urban Jurgensen, and in fact, Rancher and I were able to get. Each of us got a Urban Jurgensen at a big discount because they Federico of Del Rey Watches somehow they made a deal with him. They say, look, you know, we're getting all new watches, so these were clearing the shelves, and they gave us these great discounts. And so we both got a fantastic watch. I think Rancher moved his along, but that was fantastic. And so what we heard was that Kari Voutilainen said that his daughter is going to be customer service. The reason we asked that is that we wonder what's going to happen to the old models that they had, the real Urban Jurgensens. And his daughter's going to handle all of that, do everything with customer service. He said in 2023, the new ones are coming out and nothing's ever happened. So that question, what's going on? I think he's got a lot of other fires he's got to put out or tend to anyway. How about Glashütte Original Pano Inverse as a great deal? I love those watches. They are one of the few watches that Glashütte Original has been able to keep in real hairsprings. You know, this is the thing. What's it called? Forgot the name of the hairspring that Swatch makes, but it's a good hairspring. I mean, a good metal hairspring they have. I forget the name of it. Anyway, that's a perfectly good hairspring. What are they? You know, watches that are almost defined by interesting regulators, such as the Pano Inverse, and some of the other ones that have that double beat and frequency adjustments in them. Why mess with those? Those are some of the best stuff. You know, but I can't help but think that there has been more than just a little reaction, than some crank like me who's saying, I shouldn't have that stuff. The reason I think that is that why would Rolex spend a whole lot of money to assure people that they had that what's that parafoam? What's that called? A parachrome. The parachrome hairspring. They had a full page ad with nothing but that big, beautiful blue parachrome hairspring and a full page back cover ad, which is big bucks. And so maybe we have had an influence by saying, hey guys, what are you doing? We want traditional watches. Otherwise, they go get a smartwatch. Maybe that's what they did. Who knows? Hi, Oscar. How you doing? Hi, Van Cruel. What you been up to? I bought a book called How to Make It Big. It was about money. Rodney Dangerfield. Yeah. There were some things that I'd read about Rodney Dangerfield. He was very very shy for a long time, and other comedians used to steal his stuff left and right because he was too shy to put it on stage. And finally, when he did, of course, he really broke out. There was a movie, a very strange movie. I don't know if any of you've seen it or not. It's been a while back. It was called Natural Born Killers. And Rodney Dangerfield was in that, playing a very, very bizarre role, but it was interesting. Anyway, enough of that. Hey, James, let's say I was wondering if you ever bought a used watch from Japan. If so, what was your experience? Answer is yes, great experience. They have, I think they've got a ways to go before they understand the whole about negotiations. It's sort of like, but they're doing it now. It's funny you mentioned Japan. I used to live there when I was much younger, and I've been watching this Japanese movie called the Burmese Harp that is fascinating. I don't know what that has to do with the price of rice in China, but there it is. Never Rocks. That's right, Brian. That's the name of it I was trying to remember. UJ website now says new models in 2025. Now let's all hold our breath, okay? They didn't say what century. Did they mean 21, 25? I hope they do, because I really am interested in seeing what they do. You know, he was working. He was doing. Kerry Voutilanen was doing some stuff. I think some prototyping for Urban Jurgensen years ago when they were first developing a lot of their lines. So I think, and also there's a Scandinavian tie as well. I think he wants to keep it Scandinavian, keep the Swiss and the French and Germans away from it. Hey, listen, well, Von Krul, if you're not an old crank, you can be a young crank. Somebody once referred to Richard Nixon as a young fogey when he was a congressman. I always liked that term. The Navicron titanium alloy hairspring, very, very good. I agree, HRM. That is a very good hairspring. You know, FP Journe uses it. So, you know, thoughts on Breitling growing into a watch group with Urban Jurgensen, perhaps Gallet as a subsidiary companies. Wait, not Urban Jurgensen, but Ulysses. No, what is UG, John? I'm sorry, what's UG? What are my thoughts on it? I don't think so. I'm not crazy about Breitling. Breitling has too many watches that have sort of a B designation, but are in fact ETA based movements. They got together with Tudor and they had a movement come out. You know, working with Larique, we have a new movement almost every time we have a new watch, and these guys are going on like the world is coming to is changing on its axis if they have a new movement. James, there was a wolf seen in our town. Wow. Yeah, Van Krul, I'll tell you, if you get a chance to see it, he is such a strange character, and it's done in a very this sort of overhued color. It's really interesting. If you get a chance, take a look at that. Japanese sellers tend to be very honest. Absolutely. I have if you buy a watch from Japan, you get what they've been described. At least that's been my experience. All new UJ models will have silicone hairsprings. I hope so. Then I won't have to worry about ever getting one again. Oh, Universal Geneve. Man, Universal Geneve, uh, going back to the question about Breitling and Universal Geneve and Gallet, I don't know. It's sort of like it would be, I can understand forming a group. I mean, it's even, saying, hey, we're all going to use the same movement to save money, which isn't terrible. But I'm sort of wondering, every time, I mean, to me, it's like Lucy pulling the football from Charlie Brown. Every time I get excited about Universal Geneve, nothing happens. So I'm not too excited about it, and I've never been excited. When I used to fly, I thought Breitling was a great, great watch that I couldn't afford. And now it's like something I don't think I'd really care to have. Yeah, Von Krul, same here. There are a ton of cool Scandinavian watchmaker nowadays. I follow a duo of Finnish watchmakers that are doing some super interesting stuff called Cortella Viata. You know, I think it's Finland. This one watch we're sending to Finland is a town with the name IL. That's the name, or is it LI? One of the two. And they showed a picture of it with I guess, two upper cases, and they look like two sticks for the name of the town. I visited Finland, just a very short visit. Loved it. It was one of my big surprises. A place I'd like to revisit and learn more about. It'd be fun. I've always liked Denmark and Sweden and Norway, but I didn't know too much about Finland. Jose, agree. Japan sellers are trustworthy and watches are even better than promoted. That's true. Jose, that's the thing about it. You'll see a watch that's described as fair by the Japanese, and you'll get a watch that most others would pronounce either good or very good. You're right. Gallet was making timepieces when Richard III was defeated at Bosworth Field and have been doing so consistently with a 6-month gap in the 70s. But Gallet, this is the thing about a lot of these brands is that the only thing left in the brand is the name. There's hardly, I mean, you take a look at El Leroy, for example. Here they had the most complicated watch from 1900 to 1989. And then they started putting out junk with ETA movements in it. And it's sort of like, because they had this, they were in, what is the name of that now? Besançon, and they were using the Besançon observatory for doing their chronometer testing. But I don't know. Since then, because I love their design, I had one and was always mad at it when I found out that it had a ETA 7001 in it, which is not a bad movement, but it's just little bitty movement in a 40 millimeter case. It looks like it didn't do much for me. But so when we talk about a watch company with a name like Louis Monet, they've got nothing to do with the Monet who invented the chronograph, or they claim invented the chronograph. So there's having the brand name doesn't mean you have anything that has to do with the originals watchmakers. And that's true with so many industries that are just like, they kept the name, but they're, you really got to look carefully to see what you're getting. Hey, Stuart, how you doing? Are $500,000 and $1 million watches realistic priced, or a complete ripoff? If you're selling them, they're great. If you're buying them, it's a complete ripoff. How's that for an answer? I don't know. To me, I think a Dufour simplicity or duality for $1 million is worth it. Okay. That might be worth it. But one of these gaudy things like what's his name? The Tom Brady was wearing that by Jacob the jeweler. I don't know. I mean, it's sort of like, I'll tell you, so it's sort of like, these celebrities. When a celebrity has a watch, they can have a good watch. I mean, a really good one. I think that who was it? There was this one guy whose stuff I've always sort of liked, Brad Pitt. He showed up wearing a Vacheron Constantin 222, a 222. Why do I like 222s? Because they were the sort of the precursor to the Overseas, which was my first luxury sports watch. And I thought, how cool. And so Vacheron Constantin comes out, and one that's all gold and cost a fortune. And, guys like Pitt have fortunes that they can afford with that. But they could have bought a lot of other watches that have no horological sort of interest or ties in him, but he got that one. So I've always thought, okay, this is a good guy. But then he's on part of these crews or squads that they have, and they go marching around. I look at my Tag Heuer or some other, won't mention model. One thing you do have to look out for with Japanese sellers is over polishing. I tend to prefer my watches with their original scratches and dents, but in Japan, they tend to polish later. That's interesting. Cortella, well, yeah, I bet they do. They have some beautiful watches. They're Sapaneva or what, some name like that. He also has some great stuff. Richard Mille, I have no idea how that became so popular, but it did. I mean, not only popular, but wildly expensive. What can I say? George Daniels spring case tourbillon sold for nearly $1.5 million. Extremely undervalued when you ask most collectors. Yeah, sometimes there was a George Daniels for sale at a jewelry store in Solana Beach, California, when I was early on in my collection year. 20,000. God, I wish I'd bought that. Those things happen. Brad Pitt was born in Shawnee, Oklahoma. Yeah, he is an Oklahoma kid. That's right. Yeah, I heard that. I'd like to hold the RMP. Supposedly, they make more sense then. That may be true. Well, Rancher, the only reason people ask you that is you guys look so much alike. You know, I'm sure there's a confusion on the streets. Somebody goes by, instead of saying, "Hi, Rancher," they say, "Hi, Brad." Those things happen. I understand that. Can be annoying too. Yeah, James, that's a good question. The BVL 191. There's some stuff I've been trying to really straighten out. Okay. I think the Bulgari is owned by oh boy, what is it? Louis Vuitton, HVM something or other, LVMH, Louis Vuitton and or HMV. They have some weird thing. Now here's a group. They also own Zenith and they own some other brand, but they own Bulgari. And um, and then I was reading some stuff on Bulgari that they have their own watchmaking stuff. Then I was talking to when I was in Switzerland. I was talking to Jean-Marc Wiederreck, and I was asking him about that. And I said, "What do you think of this?" I think it was a Bulgari that won an award or did something or had a real thin one. And he said they did that with Concepto, which really surprised me. Concepto, as you probably know, that's run by Valjean Jacquet, who is Jean-Pierre Jacquet's son. I contacted him a number of times and said, "Hey, if your dad's around somewhere, I'd like to find out something about the bass movement in the Jacquet 736." Never heard back from him. But I thought that was sort of interesting. But I think they've got the 191, from everything I understand, is a good movement. So yeah, I think so too. There are a lot of watches I'd like to have, but the Richard Mille isn't one of them. Even at a good price, it's not one I'd want. 20K for a Daniels is insane. I know. Well, it wasn't a Daniels, it was a Roger Smith. Yeah, it was a Roger Smith. Wasn't a Daniels. If I said Daniels, that's not what I. Yeah, the cheapest one nowadays is for $400,000. You know, the only thing I have close to that is that at some point, FP Jorn gifted Daniels one of his chronomet Cervains, a platinum one, same model that I have. So that's about as close as I'll get to having a Daniels. 911. I don't know about $1 million on used market, but Roger Smith watches I think are worth their new retail asking price. I think so too. I mean, listen, this guy, if you want a watch that is pure watchmaker horology, top watchmaker horology, I don't think you can go wrong with Roger Smith. Have you ever seen that? He did this video and he starts off with these golden rods, and then he puts them through some crank and flattens them and does all of this stuff and makes his own cases, a solid gold case for his watches. And when I saw that, I was like, "Holy smoke!" And then he does everything else. I don't know about the watch parts, if he makes them all. You know who makes all of his watch parts is Romain Gauthier. For whatever reason, most watchmakers, they'll say, "Okay, we need these parts," and there are all these little places all over Switzerland, and we make this gear, and we make this gear, and we make this fork, and so on and so forth. And they order them all up for their watch, or they give them the specs that they need for the watch, and then they make it for them. They put it together. But apparently, Romain Gauthier makes his own, And I think it's one of the reasons that Chanel bought a hunk of them. So they own part of it, and I think they're getting some of those parts in their watches. Friend of yours has a pocket watch with a coaxial movement from the 19th century. Wow. Wow, that is interesting. How many Daniel pieces exist in the world anyway? I've got no idea. I don't know if he was very much into watchmaking. He liked to do a lot of different things with movements and other parts of it, but his book Watchmaking is certainly an interesting one. But all of the watches in that book use a key. They're all key wound, and he rants and raves about people who worry about losing a key to their watch. They shouldn't have a watch at all. Man, this is why there's that kid from France who makes wonderful watches. Those are key wound too. I think he was greatly influenced by Breguet and Breguet's, I guess, the reincarnation of Breguet and George Daniels. Man, I don't know. 37 watches made by Daniels. Yeah, that sounds about right. I'm surprised it's that high, to tell you the truth. Most of the stuff he did was for he was making the movements, but wasn't into as much into watchmaking. Well, 37 isn't a whole lot. Yeah, same here, Von Krul. Okay, guys. Well, listen, I better get Scooty now. Thank you all for coming. We can talk about whatever we want without any kind of censorship. Anyway, take care. See you next time. And if you're up in the frozen north, stay warm. Take care.